Alrighty, it is 1:11. Sarah, if I can have you just admit anyone else that comes through maybe now. But kia ora, good morning everyone, and welcome to our webinar, which is an overview of licensing in ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise. As a really quick introduction, I'm Jess and I'm a technical support analyst here at Eagle Technology. I've been with Eagle for about 5 years now and I am based in our Auckland office. Sarah, did you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Sarah Pitcher-Campbell and I'm a GIS account manager at Eagle Technology and I'm based in Rotorua.
Awesome, thank you, Sarah. So as a really quick overview of today's topics, we will be discussing the overview of licensing in ArcGIS Online and Enterprise. But with that, we will go into a bit of a crash course in what is ArcGIS Online licensing versus ArcGIS Online versus ArcGIS Enterprise. We'll then delve into understanding all the different user types that are available. And then we will go into a little bit of additional licensing that is available. We'll then follow this up with some helpful resources that we think you might find useful, as well as a live Q&A just at the end there. So in regards to the Q&A, you will find that there's a question panel in the right-hand side of your screen. Please feel free to ask questions at any time through the webinar, and we'll do our best to address these at the end in our Q&A section. So anytime, just pop a question in there and we will try to get to it at the end. With that, I am going to pass over now to Sarah.
Cool. Thanks, Jess. So I'm just going to share my screen. Is that showing up for you, Jess?
Yep, it's all there.
Cool. Right. So before we get into delve too much into licensing, thought it would be good just to cover off ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise first. So both ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise are the foundational systems for mapping and visualization and data management, spatial analysis and application building. So ArcGIS Online is the cloud-based software as a service hosted by Esri. So it has automatic upgrades and updates throughout the year, and there is no need for installation or maintenance as Esri basically do that on your behalf. All data is hosted on Esri's cloud infrastructure, and users can upload, manage, and share their data with their ArcGIS Online environment, or even out to the public or other organisations. ArcGIS Enterprise is stored on infrastructure that you and your organisation control, whether or not it's on in the cloud or on-premise, and it's scalable to meet your needs. And there are a lot of individual components that IT need to consider and manage with Enterprise. So here you can see some of the individual components that make up an ArcGIS Enterprise-based deployment, data store, server, and portal, and these can be installed on one or across more machines. So if we take just a high-level look at the licensing, and we're going to delve into some of this in a bit more detail coming up, but ArcGIS Online uses a subscription-based licensing model for users and credits, which are consumed for storage, data processing, and analysis tasks. ArcGIS Enterprise is similar to ArcGIS Online in that it is licensed. The licensing for users is tied to kind of subscription-based licensing within the Enterprise portal, but Enterprise also includes licensing for server roles and the number of cores or CPU for each server. So with ArcGIS Online and Enterprise, think of them as the backbone of GIS workflows. ArcGIS Online and Enterprise are actually designed to integrate with each other, as well as obviously ArcGIS Pro being the desktop application, and the suite of applications, web and mobile, such as Survey 123 and Experience Builder. And lastly, you don't often have to choose between the two. There isn't one or the other. They can work in a hybrid deployment pattern that integrates the two. It's up to an organisation to choose what deployment fits with your organisation's need. So I'll now pass it back over to Jess, and Jess is going to delve into those name user type licensing for both ArcGIS Online and Enterprise.
Cool, thank you for that, Sarah. Can you see my screen all right?
Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, now that Sarah's given us a bit of an understanding in the differences between ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise, let's discuss a little bit more about the user types that are available to license these different portals. So access to ArcGIS for individuals is granted and licensed via ArcGIS user types. User types are providing users with role-based access to apps, capabilities, and content that can equip users with the essential capabilities for interactive collaboration, mapping, and analysis. With this introduction of the new user types, it is making the administration to the account pretty much easier than it has ever been, streamlining the process a lot more. The capabilities and apps that were once purchased and provisioned separately are now included in these new user types. Just to note, these licenses are purchased for 1-year time periods, and you do have the availability to add on any licensing or add-on licenses whenever needed during this period. If you purchase a user type and it doesn't quite include your extensions that you require, this can be additionally purchased alongside your user types. For example, the ArcGIS Business Analyst or the ArcGIS Insights license can be purchased additionally on top of your Creator or Professional Plus role. So with the recent changes to user types, each type has had some tweaks, and for some of these, this includes some name changes. With the user types in ArcGIS Online, you are now matching your organization's roles to user types available to ensure the capabilities match your users' need and match the licensing they're providing. This has always been the case, but this new licensing has just been a little bit more heightened. A little bit to note before we dive into it, that these user types that will be released with the 11.4 enterprise release, and this will be when this new licensing types are reflected in ArcGIS Enterprise. At the moment, you might still see things like ArcGIS Editor or ArcGIS Professional Standard or Professional Advanced, and this release is expected in November this year. So to start mapping, analyzing, and managing data, you will need one of the 3 highlighted user types here. And what we'll do is jump into these in a little bit more depth. So with ArcGIS Creator, it has kept its name, but its capabilities have increased, with it now having the inclusion of ArcGIS Pro Basic licensing. With an ArcGIS Creator user type, you can now create, share maps and apps with your users, and this will facilitate that informed decision-making for both your stakeholders, users, and the public by developing these more interactive maps, apps, and putting data into context. You can perform basic spatial analysis and gain that access to a plethora of ready-to-use data, which will save valuable time, and you can leverage content from authoritative sources via the Living Atlas. You'll be granted access to the subscription, and you'll have the ability to manage members if you gain the role of administrator, as well as be able to distribute work assignments within your team, mobilizing your field workforce. Now the Creator is enabled with all of the essential ArcGIS capabilities to get you started in ArcGIS. Next up, we have our professional user type. This is the equivalent of its previous namesake, GIS Professional Standard, and the user type includes everything the Creator can access, plus access to that Pro Standard license, which widens your abilities in advanced data management, and as well as editing. With the ArcGIS Advanced Editor user type, extension is now added in. You'll also be able to configure utility networks and parcel fabrics, which is enabling users to manage a mission-critical system of record. You can also manage your organization's imagery and raster data by using data models that preserve pixel-level information. Our final of the three is the Professional Plus. So this user type includes everything from Professional, as well as an ArcGIS Pro Advanced license and all 9 ArcGIS Pro extensions. This includes the Premier analysis and cartography capabilities, with the ability to conduct comprehensive analysis scaling into big data, and utilizing these powerful methods in 2D, 3D, and 4D data to identify patterns and predict outcomes. You can perform now end-to-end AI workflows, accelerating problem solving by leveraging machine and deep learning models. You then also have the ability to create production-ready maps and apps such as multi-attribute symbology, flexible labeling, and annotation options. You also have the ability to make your GIS 3D by creating living digital twins and procedurally generating content for immersive experiences with the advanced 3D capabilities. So with these 3 roles I've just discussed, these all have access to Pro now, included with their user types, but the level of access depends on the user type that you're purchasing. So additionally, we have user types that will boost collaboration within your organization in ArcGIS, with collaborative roles who may not need all the same access as your creators and professional users. So the first on that list is our mobile worker. Our mobile worker user type aids to streamline the connection from the office to the field. You can collect your data from anywhere, leveraging specialized apps for data collection and inspection on the go, and using apps such as Field Maps and Quick Capture. You can securely receive your work assignments containing the relevant field information, directions, and communication tools required for the job. You can also navigate your routes both online and offline to promote employee safety and operational efficiency, as well as share your location and current data with others, keeping the team updated as you work. Next up, we have our contributor user type, and an update to its previous name of ArcGIS Editor. This user type drives collaboration on projects with the ability to make and review simple edits. Users can collaborate with teams by viewing, exploring, and marking out maps and content, as well as leveraging the enterprise integrations within the platform. So you can work seamlessly with Microsoft 365, Power Automate, Autodesk, and many more. Finally, we have our viewer user type. This user has kept its name, with some minor tweaks, but it's much the same in its ability to allow users to view maps, apps, and content, as well as monitor dashboards to preview real-time data, key performance indicators, and status updates. Now, these additional user types are what you can use to help grow your organization by adding these collaborating, boosting users who will aid in the success of your GIS. Cool. With that, I'm going to pass back to Sarah, who's going to discuss some additional licensing.
Cool, let me just share my screen. Can you see that all right, Jess?
Yep, I can see that.
Great. Yeah. So Jess covered off the named user licensing, which are attributed to a specific user, but I'll briefly now go over the licensing that is related to the deployment of ArcGIS as a system, as well as additional licensing that's available either to individuals or a whole organization to extend the capabilities. So in addition to the 6 core user types that Jess just ran through, there's 12 additional user type add-ons, which are appropriate for specialized workflows and generally those that are not needed for an entire organization. And then looking at organizational-wide licensing, there are 9 extensions to ArcGIS Online, 12 extensions to ArcGIS Enterprise, along with 15 optional servers for Enterprise. as well. And these are appropriate when capabilities need to be exposed to all users of an organization. And with ArcGIS Online, sorry, carry on. Then looking at consumption. So consumption is the consumption model or software as a service. That's where Esri provide the service and therefore look after the environment. And so the user is a pay-as-you-go model. And then lastly, there are standalone licensing, which is often necessitated by a disconnected user environment, or it's a niche product that can operate independently of the ArcGIS platform. So just delving in a bit deeper to what these products actually are. So if we look at the user type add-ons, these cover products including the extensions to ArcGIS Pro. So you may have the the professional name user type that Jess mentioned, but you want to add on some of the extensions. It might just be spatial analyst or image analyst or network analyst, etc. Drone to map, which is Esri's desktop photogrammetry software application that fits in here, along with business analyst and the developer bundle. Looking at consumptions, the main consumption usage for those of you on the call will be ArcGIS Online and credit usage, which is the form of currency for specific cloud-based storage services. So credits enable members of your organisation to execute various workflows, such as performing analytics, storing content on your cloud environment, and using premium content. And every ArcGIS Online subscription includes a pool of credits that can be shared between members of the organisation. And storage is generally the main consumer of credits. If we look at ArcGIS location platform, this is a platform as a service product that is that gives developers access to the location services and data services and spatial analyst services that Esri provide, including APIs and tools to build your own mapping applications. So that works as a pay-as-you-go option. And then we have our standalone licensing. So these are licensing that can be operated independently of a named user and independently of ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise. So products here include ArcGIS Pro. It can be standalone along with all its extensions. So that runs as standalone. It's not licensed by the name user, but it's licensed just by a simple license code, and it's tied to a computer and not a person. So again, very useful in a disconnected environment, or you may have it running on a server doing scheduled, regular or scheduled processing tasks that doesn't require a name user. SiteScan is the ArcGIS cloud-based drone mapping software for photogrammetry and drone analytics, such as volumetrics. So while that can connect to your online or enterprise environment for sharing imagery, it's also a standalone subscription-based license that does not require those platforms. And just finally looking more about the organisation-wide licensing. For ArcGIS Online, this includes products such as ArcGIS Hub Premium, which is a community engagement platform that organises people and data and tools through information-driven initiatives. Also, ArcGIS Indoors falls into this category, which enables an organisation to build an indoor GIS system. And then things like Premium Data Store, Premium Data Store subscription for ArcGIS Online enables organisations to upgrade to improve the performance of heavy and concurrent querying and editing, analysis, and analyzing data. So that's for when you've got data stored in ArcGIS Online. Looking at enterprise, Esri offers many extensions to the base ArcGIS server, which is included with ArcGIS Enterprise. These extensions often can be quite niche, but they broaden and deepen the capabilities of your server deployment. ArcGIS Image Server is actually a very common one. And for example, that provides two main capabilities: dynamic image services from your Mosaic data sets, and also raster analytics for distributed processing. One of the newer ones is ArcGIS Video Server, which is a server role that allows you to index, search, and publish and stream videos as a web-enabled video service. So yeah, there's just some examples. And we also have self-hosted content such as StreetMap Premium. I will pass it back to you, Jess.
Awesome, thank you, Sarah. I'll just reshare my screen. Hopefully that has come through to everyone. So it's a bit of a short and sweet bit there so far, but with that, I just wanted to go over some resources that are available. So with that, so if you are looking for some additional resources around this, Esri provides a plethora of information that we can access. So I'd recommend taking a look first at the ArcGIS blogs page. There's a really good blog section specifically around the administration in ArcGIS Online. And this does dive in within one of the sections all about the licensing in ArcGIS Online and how to manage your users with that licensing. Alongside that, we do have ArcGIS documentation. This is really helpful and it provides all sorts of information on pretty much anything and everything in ArcGIS, GIS as a whole. Specifically, there's some really good documentation around user types, and it does dive into a little bit more information on each user type if you didn't quite catch some of the capabilities. It also dives deeper into what kind of information you'll have with what add-on licenses are available or what capabilities and extensions are included. There's also the ArcGIS developers page if you are interested in the developer side of licensing. Please take a look there. Cool, we do have some upcoming training. In relation to this specifically, there's not too much training on licensing specifically. That's mostly documentation based, but a really good resource is all about administering ArcGIS Online members. This is an Esri Academy training plan, and that has several courses within it that you can look into if you're wanting to do up your admin skills in ArcGIS Online. We also did just recently record a separate webinar with all about managing content and credits in ArcGIS Online, which goes hand in hand, and this should be available on our YouTube page shortly. We also have some additional upcoming webinars. The next one will be the ArcGIS for Developers webinar on the 17th of October. That will be then followed on by our real-time GIS webinar on the 31st of October. And then finally, we'll have our ArcGIS Online security webinar on the 7th of November. So with that, we've reached the Q&A section. I do see that one's popped in, which is really fantastic. So I see that there's a question here in the user type add-ons. There's advanced editing. Does this provide additional editing capabilities to what is in the professional user type? Sarah, do you know maybe the answer to that one there?
So I believe it comes with the professional user type already, but I might come back to you on that one, Kat. Let me confirm.
Yeah, we can definitely take down your information and follow that one up. I do see another question. How can users purchase additional licensing? Sarah's probably good to comment there, but I think reach out to your account manager.
Yeah. The first port of call will be your account manager, and they can definitely help you with that. So they any licensing can be additional licensing can be picked up throughout at any time. You don't have to wait till you renew. The subscription based is an annual license, like Jess mentioned, but you can pick them up anytime during the year, and they're just prorated to your renewal date. So yeah, first port of call is to reach out to your account manager.
Sorry, my screen was flashing a little bit in the background there. And I do see one more comment about how do you request enterprise licensing. We have a licensing@eagle.co.nz email, which is where you should direct requests for licensing if you're already an existing customer. If you're trying to purchase it, again, go back to your account managers. But if you're actually just needing some physical license files, pop an email in there, and probably myself or someone else will follow up with you. I think that's all the questions. Oh no, we've got another one there. If I develop a notebook script, how do others get activated to use it? Can it be added as a custom tool to something like a web map or experience builder app? That's a very good question.
Script. That would depend if you're using ArcGIS Online or Enterprise. And what the tool is, what the script's actually doing. So we probably need to find out a bit more information about what your script is actually doing there. With Experience Builder, you can create custom widgets. I'm just wondering if that's what you're meaning there. Yeah.
We'll definitely follow up there. I noticed another one from Kat. Does the mobile worker user type include creator capabilities? No, not quite. I don't think it has the ability to create apps or maps. It's more doing field work, like using the 7013 apps or field maps. Does anyone else have any more questions there? And thank you to everyone who's asked questions so far. That's really good. And if we haven't quite answered your question, we'll definitely follow up with some answers or try and get some more information from you to try and understand a little bit more about your question. This webinar is also recorded, so if you've got any other questions that you maybe forgot to ask beforehand, feel free to just, you can rewatch the recording when it gets published, or you can also reach out to Sarah or myself with additional questions if you're a bit too shy to ask them here. Another question we've got there from Kate, can the contributor user create story maps? I don't believe so. I think you'd still need to have that creator minimum capabilities to create story maps. But thank you for that question, Kate. I'll bring up the documentation mentioned previously, and I'll pop a link in the chat for everyone. It just outlines all of the information for each user type. Just stop sharing my screen there. Alrighty, I'm just about to pop something in the chat window. So if you're interested in exactly, oh, that's been turned off. I will not be able to do that. I'll just share my screen with the actual link up available. So this one here is the user types overview page. You can click into each user type that you're interested in learning about, and you'll get a little bit more information. For example, that Professional Plus, you can go in here and it will give you an overview of all the included apps, including these ones here. And then you've got the ArcGIS Pro extensions and additional apps all listed here. So this should give you a really high level overview of all the extensions available. I think we've got another question, or a couple more there. Are these licenses specific to 11.4? For Enterprise, the newer user types will be available from 11.4. Any older versions of Enterprise will not currently be utilizing those same user types, but for ArcGIS Online, these are already available and active. I see another one there. When working with clients, the most common question is, how much does X user type cost? Is there a way for folks to get this information online, or do they need to email yourselves?
So yeah, you need to contact your account manager for pricing.
Cool, thank you for that. It's a lot of questions and we really appreciate it. It's good to have a bit of a conversation around a lot of these unknowns that some people have. We've got another one again. My organisation is worried about the unauthorised schema changes. Where is the boundary for this? Do you have to be admin or can creators change a schema? Thank you for that, Kim. I'm not sure offhand. I'm not sure if Sarah, you know either. We can definitely follow up though.
I can't see that question.
Oh, if you click the Q&A box at the top, does that show for you?
Yeah, I just can't see that question. It's all right.
I'll
I
publish
don't,
it and then check and see if it's there.
updating schema. No, I'm not sure. That would have to follow. Oh, I think there we go. It's just taken a moment to update. Unauthorized is worried about unauthorized schema changes. Where is the boundary for this? So that would be if I'm reading this right, if it's data, say I'm going to say ArcGIS Online, and somebody could add additional fields to the attribute table. I think that's what you mean, making schema changes. So if somebody is a creator, if they only have a data editor role, I'm guessing they wouldn't be able to create schema changes. But yeah, we can probably send through some details around that, because it might be you've got the user type and then the role that you assign them. So yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So there's definitely a few of you that you might see an email pop in either today or in the next few days, just with some answers to follow up your questions, or maybe some more information we might need to answer that a bit more appropriately.
Yeah, and just add on that one, Kim, what you may look at doing is creating views of your data that your users can access. So while the admins and the data owners can access the actual layer, your users are using a specific view that could be, certain read-only and things like that. So just some things to think about.
Yeah, and I see Kat's just popped in a question about, can you explain the difference between user types and roles? Yeah, so that's, I guess we've mentioned that a few times. Probably good to clarify. User types are what we've gone over today, but roles are what's additionally assigned to these users. So you have some users who might be an administrator, you can have publishers. Essentially, the roles are determining the privileges that each users have. You can make custom versions of these. So you might have someone who's a creator, but you don't want them to access, say, certain tools, or you might not want them to share their data publicly. These are all things that you can edit with roles, but there's both default and custom roles that can be created.
And there's some quite good training available online for administering your ArcGIS Online environment that cover off the roles, and because they're administered by you as your organization. So yeah, definitely would recommend looking at the ArcGIS Online kind of administration training.
I see another one there from Erin. So is there a user type to allow users to create apps but not create data, or will I need a custom user type for this? I think that might be where a custom role would come into play. I could be wrong. But this might be where you're only selecting the certain types of data they can create, but I don't believe there's a specific user type that would have that kind of constraint. But thank you for that question, Erin. I'll publish this one so you can see it, Sarah.
All right, they do pop up. They just
Cool.
just there you go. Yep.
Awesome. What options are available for temporary or short-term licensing needs, such as seasonal projects or contractors?
So we In terms of temporary or short-term licensing, as Jess mentioned, all the subscription licensing is annual, but definitely keen with regard seasonal workers and things like that. There are ways that we can help with that, depending, again, it would be definitely a conversation with your account manager. There are certain things like even moving your renewal date so it suits with seasonal work is one option. But definitely contact the account manager, because if we understand the amount of usage either during the year, it could be short-term usage during the year, or it might only be for a certain amount of months of the year, then yeah, they might be able to work out something for you. So definitely contact the account manager.
Cool. I don't see any new questions coming in, so we'll give it a couple more minutes just to see if anything else flows in. But to everyone that's asked questions today, that's really great. And thank you for giving us those questions of yours and giving us a chance to answer. Again, we'll try follow up with anyone we weren't able to quite answer. But yeah, it's a really good chance now to ask any of those burning questions you might have had whilst you've got the two of us here. But again, if anything else pops up later, you can email myself or Sarah, or flick in an email through one of the support channels if need be as well. Cool, it looks like we've gone through all the questions. I just wanted to say a really big thanks from myself and Sarah, who I'm sure definitely agrees. Really appreciate you all taking the time out of your day to come along to this one. Oh, before I end, we do have another question that's just popped in. What are the data size limits? That's a good question. I think it will also depend on several different factors. Sarah, do you want to answer there, or should we? That might be a post webinar question.
Yeah, because that's not, it depends if you're talking about a feature layer stored in ArcGIS Online or imagery. So yeah, that could be a follow-up question.
Yeah, thank you for that though, Kim. Not a question, but great. Thank you very much. We appreciate the feedback, and we'll definitely try and connect. I think that's everything. Oh no, we've got more coming in. Thank you guys. Using the API, they're very small, like 3,000, but layers can have one. Okay, cool. Thank you, Kim. Not sure if that was a question, but thank you. Alrighty, we might round off there. But again, thank you all so much, everyone. And you have a really good rest of your day.